wonderful guests. Coaching to personal empowerment. This is something I'm fully involved in. I've always liked this concept of we can own our own power and we can always grow and adapt and just become better within ourselves. Now tonight's speech is about a story of me coaching a club member at another club. And just to make it clear, I am a public speaking coach by trade also. Now this member approached me last year because she was looking for private lessons, because she had some issues at work, promotions, in-house politics, there was a lot of stuff happening at work, but she also needed to improve her confidence as well as her public speaking. I agreed to coach her. We did 4 sessions, and the main things that we focused on were what I already mentioned, confidence. But tonight I'm going to share 2 stories. One of them is how we improved her vocal variety and her voice projection. Now, before I start on these stories, I just want to mention that when coaching or being coached, I believe there's a skill set for sure. We all know here at Toastmasters, there's a skill set. There's stuff that we use all the time. We look at gestures. We use all these things that help us formulate our speaking style. But I also believe in the mindset, because I can teach someone a skill set, but until I break through the mindset, that limiting belief of they can't do it, I find they get stuck. And this is where I push my clients a little bit out into that uncomfortable territory. Now I formulated an acronym which I call CAD. And what does that stand for? Well, the C stands for courage, and mostly courage to be different. Because you think of us here on stage, we get up and we speak. How many people do you know that do this, public speaking? We are the minority, so we are already doing something that is different. We are different. So C is for courage, A is for allowance and acceptance. Sometimes we get put into uncomfortable situations, but this is where our biggest growth comes from, in my opinion. And the B stands for brave. Once you've got those 2 under wraps, you need to have the bravery to get up and, as I say, put those big girl pants or big boy pants on, get up and do it. Okay, so the first session that we had, she chose the venue. It was a little conference room, glass windows, a wall on the side, cafe on the side. It was kind of like a student house. And there was people walking up and down, and I wouldn't say we had privacy. We could close the door, but you could hear out and they could hear in, and it wasn't like a closed setting. Now my client was very quiet. When she used to speak on stage, we were all like that. What's she saying? So quiet. So I knew I had a challenge with this voice projection session that we had. So I asked her just firstly to speak normally. Tell me a little bit about yourself, just speaking your normal voice, your normal tone. I said, perfect. I said, now I want to do something a little bit different. You're going to imagine that I'm out there in the car park. I'm not here. You're going to push your voice all the way out there. The look of horror on her face, because she knew that people were going to hear, people were going to see. And I said, okay, this is where the acronym CAD comes in. You need to be courageous to try this. This is something new, and I understand it's going to feel awkward, but this is how we learn. The first time you get up on stage, it's awkward. This is going to feel awkward also. Are you willing to give it a go? Yes, she was. Okay, so let's just accept that we're in this room, and maybe some people are going to look in, or maybe they're going to hear you, and that's okay also. And then bravery to step up. Now, when we are voice projecting, I've never had a problem with voice projection because I have a loud voice. Let me just state that. It's never been an issue for me. However, for anyone who's looking to project their voice further, this is my top tip. Push to the furthest you want to go. Now when I'm speaking, I'm not aiming for this front row, the last row, timekeeper. I want my voice to hit that back wall. So I said to her, now push from your lungs, push your voice to the car park. And red as a tomato, she did it. And she had something shifted in her because she'd never pushed her voice that way. What I notice with people who speak quietly, they speak just from here. Their voice stops here, and that's why they can't push. It's just from here. Come from here pushes your voice further. Our second session was an online session, and this is where we practice vocal variety. Now, she was in her room, and I asked her to read a little paragraph that she was familiar with because she was just going to read it, reread it, and wasn't interested in the content, just that she kept reading it. In the middle of the room, she read it. Then I said, come forward to the laptop, speak quietly, practice speaking quiet, bring it up a little bit, bring it down a little bit, bring it up a little bit again. Come back to the middle, normal voice. Get used to your voice going up and down. And this is where I pushed her again. I said, now go to the back of the room, and I want you to do that car park scenario. Push your voice again. Of course, she was like, but my neighbours are going to hear. What are they going to say? I said, but at 6 p.m, you're not screaming profanities. You're not screaming, help, help, I need the police. Yes, they might hear you, and so what? And she agreed to do it. And you know what? Out of those 2 sessions, I can honestly say she has improved immensely. Other members have noticed it also. This is the power of pushing into that comfortable, that little awkward territory. That's where we learn the most. In summary, learning to move through this uncomfortable sensation is where the biggest growth is. Coaching to self-empowerment is epic for yourself, and for me as a coach, it's wonderful to see. And courage, acceptance, and bravery are key. Thank you.